But why do they put a guarantee on the box, then?
Because they know all they sold you was a guaranteed piece of shit. That's all it is, isn't it? Hey, if you want me to take a dump in a box and mark it guaranteed, I will. I got spare time.
So it's been a week since I've been allowed to post on YouTube because I got a channel strike. Because I was talking about, well, it's not important what I was talking about. Being censored is no fun. Being punished and put in timeout is no fun. So I can only imagine how little fun the deep state bad actors will be having over the next couple weeks. This is just why I'm calm. And calm is maybe a relative term, because my blood pressure has never been higher than it was yesterday. Watching the stream from Right Side and watching streams from different tweet handles, from different journalists, from people that I thought, like Elijah Schaefer, people that I thought were people I would watch, people I would trust their opinion and their take on, and then here he is saying, hey, the people that are breaking into the Capitol building are not instigators, they're not injected, they're just here for the rally. Well, he doesn't know any better. All that he knows is that what they're wearing, what they look like, and what they're doing. He can't know their intent unless he knows them. He can't cover for their intent unless he knows them either. So, lots of confusing things happening yesterday. I don't know all the specifics clearly. You can only take my word as far as I can guess. But I've been pretty good at guessing. If you want to look at the channel, I can have guessed that Mike Pence was a traitor about a year ago. But anyways, Lynn Wood posted this on Parler because he's been suspended from Twitter, as has the president. We all think that that is Red 1. If you don't know what that means, Google Red 1. All caps Red with a numeral 1 immediately following, no space. It says, this is Lynn Wood's post on Parler. This is why I am calm. So you can take this for what it's worth, may not be worth anything. But we have said all along that the military was the only way. And if you were watching yesterday, you may have thought that Pence, acting seemingly in complete disconcert with the president, when the president says before his speech, the VP and I are in perfect agreement that he has 3 options, they're all legal, they're all constitutionally responsible and required to send in question falsely certified votes back to states for recertification or authorization, or at least a double check if those states are requesting that they can have their votes back, something that wasn't allowed to be fulfilled until yesterday. And Pence says, on second thought, while Trump is on stage speaking to his supporters, Pence sends out a little memo, hey, I think I'm not going to do that after all. I don't think I have the authority to convene Congress for that matter. So I couldn't possibly do that because that would end this, convention without a certification, which I don't have the authority to do. Not a historian, Mike Pence, because he knows full well he has the authority to do that. He posts this letter while Trump is on stage. Everyone has a coronary because they now see, the knife, there it is, sprouting from the back of Donald Trump after all, with fingerprints from Mike Pence. So, Lynn Wood had said previously that Mike Pence should be arrested as a traitor. But how can you arrest a man for treason if he's only ever had leaked emails that you can argue are fake? You have to catch him in the act. And I had tweeted this last night. I said, Donald Trump will not have the Insurrection Act. He will not call on the executive order. He will not do any of these things until they go through with it, until they stamp it. Because now, and it's been a theme for the last 4 years, it's a difference when someone commits a crime or when they knowingly commit a crime. He has done all he could legally to try to show them that it is criminal. He has then addressed it with them. It is criminal, he being the president. They just went through last night, early this morning, just close to 3 o'clock in the morning, and certified for Biden. Knowing now that it's fraud. And you can say there's plausible deniability as to whether or not they know it's fraud or if they suspect it. But if Trump knows that they know it's fraud because he has proof that they did it knowingly, and if he has proof that Mike Pence and Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell knowingly went through with this, that all of them won, except for Pence, all of them won their re-elections, except for Trump. All of the cheating seemed to work out in most everyone's favor except for anyone running in a contested and close, tight race for a congressional seat that went blue instead of red like it ought to, and then Trump. So if they're tracking that the whole way through, and then they're just waiting to see who sits on what side when it's stamped. If Trump and the Secretary of Defense and everyone else, the Secretary of Defense, Chris Miller, by the way, and I made a video about this a couple weeks ago, was crying, was shaking at the podium thanking the VP for his guidance, saying, "We have been under a complete attack. This is the biggest international military operation since I took over," which was the day after the election. So this man takes over his position, and within at that time it had been 5 weeks. 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, you had seen the most international and most complex military operations undertaken by the United States at that time. Something else is going on that we're not aware of. That is my take. That's my guess. General Flynn says the same thing, and Lynn Wood says the same thing. So this is Lynn Wood's post from Parler now. He says, Trump is in Abilene, Texas, at the National Defense Command Center. He left last night with Secretary of Defense Chris Miller. Says, so while Congress is on Capitol Hill committing treason, which is what they were waiting for them to certify. Remember, it's not committed until they certify it. Otherwise, it's just an idea that someone had. Right? Antifa's an idea. They were committed yesterday. It says, committing treason while surrounded by the military who is helping them. So, pause that. Is Lynn Wood saying that the military is helping them? Or that the military is protecting them from people? See, I think the Pence ordered the National Guard to surround the center, the Capitol, so that they could not be stopped from this coup. And the National Guard's going to listen to the vice president, because what do they know? So they're helping them, but really they're protecting them from us and from the white hats, from special ops perhaps. So instead of creating a hot war in the Capitol, Trump is in Texas at the command center watching. Just like you would in a skiff watch a commando raid or a special ops team tag and bag somebody. When you would watch this from a skiff, you would watch and you'd have helmet feed and you'd be giving orders and you'd be watching it all go down live. Much like they said Obama did when they got Osama bin Laden, right? We all know that was fake. He says, you think if the military didn't have the president's back, that he would be there? Or that he would have been allowed to get there? Or that he would have escaped Washington on Air Force One? It's a good question. It says Secretary of Defense is playing Pence and Congress, waiting for them to finish their crime. So Chris Miller, and I made this point 2 weeks ago, is a combat veteran. He has seen some shakingly horrifying shit in action, in the field, probably both foreign and domestic, but certainly foreign. He's been overseas. He's been doing a lot. He took multiple tours. We're supposed to believe that he saw more complex military operations over the past 8 weeks than he'd ever had in his life before as Secretary of Defense, and that he was thanking Mike Pence for his leadership and guidance during this trying time. Maybe he's a great soldier and a bad actor, but when I saw the video, and not bad actor, but I mean like bad performance artist, because when I saw Chris Miller like at the podium shaking, saying, thank you, Mr. President, it looked like he was trying to make Pence believe that he was thanking him, and maybe thank you is a euphemism for these guys. And Pence didn't look all that happy with Chris Miller either. He was like, Pence never looks happy. He looks wooden. Isn't that strange? So, again, Secretary of Defense is playing Pence and Congress, waiting for them to finish the crime. That really has to be proven out, if not today, certainly over the next week, 2 weeks. Can you let it get to inaugurate? Can you say, well, they have to inaugurate Biden and then we'll arrest them? That, I think, is a step too far. But this certainly makes sense to me, and it made sense to me last night. They have to certify their fraud. They have to, and he said it. Donald Trump said, when you hold a fraudulent election, it's election fraud. When you certify knowingly a fraudulent election, it's treason. So does he want to bust all these guys on election fraud? Have them plea out and see no real time and have people say, oh, this is just Trump trying to steal the election? Or does he want to prove to the United States that this is treason? And you don't have to prove it to me, because I believe it. Probably don't have to prove it to you. Probably don't have to prove it to most people seeing this. But this is of interest, I thought. Abilene, Texas is where Trump is. That's where they have tracked Air Force One with the Air Force One tracker, but they flew in a plane not Air Force One. They flew in an E-4B, which is the Secretary of Defense plane. That's what he uses when he flies internationally because it's well protected. Okay, it's a Boeing E-4B. The other interesting thing about this plane, it says this is a doomsday plane. The E-4 is capable of operating the Looking Glass missions on the Strategic Air Command. Remember, early on, Flynn was saying that the end-all be-all is the Strategic Air Command. There's a reason we have Space Force, too. And there's a reason that you don't really know why. If you were Strategic Air Command and you knew you were under attack, and you've heard this before, Air Force One is actually the safest place for the president to be. Not on the ground, but moving and protected and insulated. Do you know what Looking Glass missions are? Because that's important to know that they can conduct these while on the plane. People always said that trust the plan, you guys are LARPers, you're idiots. And, if part of the plan is to walk through the darkness to see the light, as they have said it is, then you can't be shocked when that happens, and you can't say this isn't part of it, oh no. Anyways, this serves as hang on, I want to catch this. The name Night Watch originates from the richly detailed Rembrandt painting, The Night Watch, also depicts the local townsfolk, blah, 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 blah. So that is the President and Secretary of Defense can access quickly, in the state of emergency, these kinds of planes. So what happens? They're at the White House. They're trying to communicate, and if you didn't see from disclose.tv, they posted the tweet with the news that cell phone jammers were being used outside the White House. They tried to take over the White House before the election, and then they realized, never mind, we're not going to siege the White House prior to the election, we're going to wait. And why did they wait? Is it possible that they knew that we would come if they just stole the election? Hey, we got a bigger crowd. The MAGA people have a bigger crowd. Why don't we get the crowd of MAGA people to come, and then we can infiltrate that, and we've got huge cover, way bigger cover than BLM. Well, that's what they did, right? They instigated a problem with the Capitol. They broke in through windows. They got a bunch of MAGA people to go in there, too, and cause some dumb shit. And so they jam up outside the White House. Cell phone can't get in or out. I don't think the president or any of the generals felt very safe at that point, so looks like they jumped on Air Force One and they went to Abilene, Texas. And if you're wondering, what are they doing at Abilene, Texas? This is where the National Defense Command Center exists. This is where he can operate, he being the president, can operate Looking Glass operations, both from the air and from this command. This is where, essentially, special ops can watch, protect, defend the president for the next 2 weeks if he has to be bunkered down for 2 weeks while they make arrests. Watch the emergency alert systems over the next couple days, too. I'd be surprised if we don't see something today. But this is of interest because if you thought for a minute that the president was going to be a sitting duck, that they were going to take away his Twitter, that they were going to then jam up cell service to and around the Capitol, that they were going to coup him in the middle of the night through military protection so that we could not protest it illegally. At this point, it's illegal. When you certify fraud, when you have open court cases in different states that have not uncontested certification of electoral votes, and you certify them anyways, and you do so knowingly, and you do so in the face of people who are telling you that you are a traitor if you do so, how do you argue you're not a traitor at that point? If you listen to the stream from the Congressional Hall last night where they're certifying these votes, you can hear treason dripping in every word. Every word of those who were not contesting the vote. That's what I had to say. It's been a week off. And it's been a little crazy to try to not go insane sitting here not being able to post or at least vent some things. So share this video. I'll be posting more. Like this video. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Do you think that Trump still has a chance? Do you think that he was defeated in saying go home? We lost? I mean, he didn't say he lost. He didn't say he conceded. He said he would never concede. He said he won. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Share this video. Subscribe to the channel. And then hit the little notification bell. If you're doing those things, and you're staying pro-Trump, and you're staying the course, and you trust in the plan, then you're doing everything else that you can do to keep America afloat.